Senator Cortez Masto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Prohaska, let me start with you. Do you support an all-of-the-above energy approach?
Thank you very much for the question, Senator. I support an all-the-above energy approach if it's reliable, affordable, and secure. I think we need to look at the portfolio.
Do you think solar and wind are reliable and affordable and secure?
There are some cases where that very well could be, and there's also enabling technologies that could maybe enhance certain technologies, not particularly those two. But I think that's part of the opportunity ahead of us is to make sure we find out what is keeping, if anything, from affordable, reliable, and secure technologies and help that.
Thank you. Are there any specific areas of research that you believe ARPE must prioritize to remain competitive?
I would have to look at the portfolio because your question is if we have to maintain. I am not well in depth at the whole portfolio right now as it stands from many years ago when I was there. And looking at those projects as they evolve, that would be part of the evaluation.
Okay. In your written testimony, you acknowledge that new critical technologies are at an inflection point. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. And please know that Nevada entities have leveraged ARPE funding in recent years to uncover exciting solutions such as innovative research with Nevada gold mines and the University of Nevada, Reno to study new techniques for the separation of rare earth elements from ores. There's so much going on. There's so much opportunity. But here's my question for you. In President Trump's fiscal year 2026 budget, he calls for a 57% cut to ARPE, 57% cut. So my question to you, if confirmed, how would you manage that, and what specific actions would you take to stand up for your agencies and the tools it needs? And will you then have to make priorities on which areas of research that you would support? And I would be curious what those areas would be.
Senator, I think with any, to first start with the areas, I would not dare sit here today and say I know. I think in something like an ARPE, an Advanced Research Projects Agency, and this high reward, high risk technology, the most dangerous thing that someone can say, particularly prior to looking.
Can I stop you? I'm sorry, because
Yes,
I only have so much time.
Senator.
Well, you keep talking about high risk, high reward. What is that? What projects are those? What are you talking about specifically?
I think it's the ability to put dollars for a exponential return to impact on the United States taxpayer and ensure that we're making the biggest bang for the buck and really shooting, as we talk about sometimes, moonshot type technologies. To answer your question, is we will maximize the resources that are at ARPE to make sure we are effectively and efficiently accomplishing the mission to deliver the best we possibly can for the U.S. taxpayer.
I only have so much time, so I'm going to jump to, and I apologize. I don't get a chance to ask you all questions, so we will submit some for the record. But Ms. Pierce, I did have one for you. So, but we'll submit it for the record because I know you're patiently waiting here. But there's one that I have to ask Dr. Mamula about because, as you know, Nevada is at the forefront of developing our nation's critical mineral supply chain and reducing dependence on China. And I've heard all of you comment to some extent that that is absolutely necessary. The mining industry in Nevada is bolstered by invaluable research conducted at our universities, including the Mackey School of Mines at the University of Nevada, Reno, through grants from USGS programs such as Earth MRI, State Map, and the National Geological and Geophysical Data Preservation Program. Our universities are able to create publicly available data regarding the location of critical mineral resources, to archive mineral compositions of different regions, and accelerate mine permitting by providing baseline geological data for prospective projects. I fear that without this research, Nevada and the rest of the United States may fall further behind in the race to develop reliable critical mineral supply chains. Unfortunately, in the President's fiscal year 26 budget, he proposes to slash the USGS by about $500 million and cut funding to universities. Yet, it says the agency will focus on achieving dominance in energy and critical minerals. Now, I understand that you're not currently at the agency, but can you explain how cutting critical research like this will actually help the U.S. achieve dominance in energy and critical minerals? And how would you manage that cut to your budget?
Senator Cortez Masto, thank you for the question. And by the way, Nevada is a great geology state. I go there every year, and and I know the people in your state geological survey. To answer your question, let me take it this way. The federal funds from USGS flow down to the state geological surveys. That's one of the greatest partnerships you can believe, and it's just fabulous. The state surveys are the engine of a lot of our mapping, so we have state and federal working together. Senator, I'm not privy, or I don't understand the nuances of the president's budget because I'm not in there yet, but I will make it a very #1 priority to look at that budget, whether whatever cuts or plus-ups, whatever, and make sure that we have the money to drive the program forward, which is the president's priority. That is to make the critical minerals, rare earth, and technology metals a national priority because it is a national security priority. And that would be my focus from day one, minute one, when I walk in that building, if confirmed.
Will you promise me this? If you, once you get in there and the cuts are made, and they are going to be significant cuts to you, including cuts to grant funding, that when you, whatever little funds that you do have for grant funding, that you do not make a decision that you're going to pick blue states over red states?
Senator, I need to take a look at that. I can't envision when we do geology and funding and cooperation between state, federal, that there's a blue state, red state. Senator, let me just go on the record and say, the critical minerals, our energy, our rare earth, our technology metals, I hope, and sometimes secretly I pray, that this is the greatest nonpartisan issue before us in our time. We have
And
to.
you would commit to keeping it nonpartisan?
Senator, we are scientists, and if we get into the weeds of politics, it kind of spoil our credibility, and I would never do that to the USGS.
Thank you.
Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the sages of New England, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said, "What you do speak